दोस्तों अस्सलाम वालेकुम। Who wants what? Mapping the parties' conflict in Afghanistan. The principal parties directly or indirectly involved in the Afghanistan conflict, whether Afghan or foreign, have a range of political, geostrategic, economic, social, cultural, reputational and other interests in Afghanistan. An understanding of these interests, especially their relative importance to the parties and whether they converge or diverge, should inform any future efforts to resolve or mitigate the conflict. There is sufficient convergence of the parties' interests to suggest that some form of political accommodation is possible, yet ample divergence and distrust between them. To make this difficult to accomplish, considering this and the complex web of the parties' interests and objectives, any peace process will require effective mediation or facilitation. There is apparent convergence of interest between most of the parties, including to some extent the Taliban, in terms of avoiding full-scale civil war or state collapse, preserving Afghanistan's territorial integrity and over the longer terms, maintaining effective national security force, containing extremists and securing continued international assistance for the country. There is at least some convergence between the parties in other areas, such as in preserving Afghanistan's sovereignty and political independence. To different degrees, a number of the parties share an interest in achieving medium to long-term stability, promoting the rule of law and concerning power. In due course, recognition and political inclusion of the Taliban may prove to be a convergent interest. However, there are interests that diverge, such as those relating to the exercise of power and the presence of foreign force, a divisive issue, but one that will decline in salience. There divergence too in the Taliban's strong interest in the application of Sharia and the interest of the Afghan government and northern groups in preserving democracy and civil liberties. There are certain interests that the parties' leaders do not regard as fundamental but that are important to the Afghan population. These includes interests where there is divergence between the parties, such as ensuring respect for human rights and women's rights, or those where there is convergence, such as promoting development or strengthening trade and investment. The peace process must involve representatives of Afghan society, and any future mediator should develop strategies not only to overcome differences between the parties but also to protect the interests of the Afghan population. Taliban's political interests are very clear in Afghanistan as a composite movement. The Taliban interests vary. Most Taliban share an interest in the withdrawal of foreign troops, the establishment of a strict Islamic system, and action against corruption. The Taliban has a clear interest in acquiring a measure of power, especially in justice, religious affairs, anti-corruption, social affairs, and education, but may conditionally be prepared to enter into a political settlement. The movement has an obvious short to medium term interest in expanding its territorial control, but many leaders reasons that a bid for absolute power could generate a powerful anti-Taliban coalition with US and regional backing. Taliban leaders look to reinforce the movement's cohesion, commitment, and legitimacy, which may be strained by the withdrawal of foreign force, and to strengthen its autonomy from Pakistan. Most leaders realize that association with Al-Qaeda jeopardize their prospects of recognition, influence, and safety. In fact, Taliban leaders have a strong interest in international recognition, but believe acknowledging this will be taken as a sign of weakness. Insurgent fighters tend to have local interest, often relating to a community or tribe. Some foot soldiers and certain factions, however, may be more hardline than the Taliban leadership, creating significant internal tensions despite internal difference. Assalamu alaikum.